In 1959, a strapping young Trinidadian named Mike Quashie came to New York and helped spark the limbo dance craze.
Mike could go into that limbo pole. How many inches used to be?
7.
Was it up down to 7? I think it was lower than that. He was known for that. It was Mike Quashie. Everybody knew the Limbo King.
The Limbo King, an unforgettable party goer and party thrower who fascinated high society and also attracted celebrities and rock stars such as Jimmy Page, Lou Reed, Steven Tyler. Here he is with Bill Cosby, Nancy Wilson, and Sidney Poitier. That's him at the Apollo Theater in Harlem with Maya Angelou, who was then a young dancer. Now, one of Mike's regular dancers in the 60s was a young woman named Jean Lee, who Mike hired and took under his wing for a few years until they went their separate ways and lost touch for decades. Mike recently moved from his longtime Greenwich Village apartment to an assisted living residence in the Bronx. He's 79 years old now, his magnificent body soft, his back and his knees shot from the strain of the limbo. He moves slowly and he has no family around him, no money, and few visitors. Where many of his fellow residents have chipper family photos outside their room, Mike's is marked with a faded snapshot from his Apollo Theater days, and one of his old carnival masks next to his walker. Well, there's one person from the old days he knows, his beloved dancer, Jean, who unbeknownst to Mike left professional dancing after they parted ways and became a psychiatric nurse at this very home.
First time she came in the room to say hello, I just completely flipped out, said, I don't believe that I'm in a home and there's Jean.
Last year, Jean noticed Mike's name on a list of new residents.
He was not able to keep his apartment and function on his own. He became weak physically. So the doctor called, they usually call you to say I have an admission. So when I said, what's the name? So she said, Mike Quashie. So I went on to take the rest of the information. Then I said, wait a minute. I said, is he from Trinidad? So I think she came and asked you.
Yeah.
And then I said, send him to me. That's somebody I know very, very well. And then I would take care of him because he took care of me. So that's how it works.
She brought him old photos of their group and recordings of their music, and they sit and reminisce when she makes her regular stop in his room.
Mike was just full of life, boisterous. I always got along with him. And he was always fair with us, paid us well.
He tells her how his career evolved in the 1970s and 80s into an over-the-top mix of Caribbean voodoo with kinky chic. He became the Spider King, and also a glam rock pioneer whose flamboyant costumes and special effects on stage were adopted by many performers, who cashed in on them in a way that Mike never did. He tells Jean about his one-bedroom apartment on Bedford Street, where he lived dating back to the 1960s, when Mike would let Jimi Hendrix crash there. A few years back, I met Jimmy's brother Leon there, strumming his guitar and carrying on. Mike's new home here is hardly as funky as his village apartment, but having Jean here makes him feel more at home.
I look out for him, Who would ever think that after all these years we would be back together again? And the way he helped me, I'm able now to help him.